Hey, welcome back everyone to my channel. This is Mike, and I am doing the right thing. I am socially distancing from my computer and trying to be a good citizen. And what do you think of the mask? I sent away for these, found them on Facebook. Somebody's trying to make a buck out of this COVID-19 crisis, so they found all of us Star Trek freaks, and they started making these. And I thought, what a cool idea. If I have to do this nonsense, I may as well promote Star Trek and have some fun. So, anyway, so I wanted to wear the mask and show you that we have to do this when we go into stores and all that sort of thing and come into close contact with people. And I was able to do that in the last couple of days, which is why I'm making this video. Some of the lockdown restrictions are being sort of lifted slowly but surely. And some of the places where I like to shop that have been closed for 3 months are starting to open up, at least for limited hours and limited numbers of people going into the stores. So I was online a couple of days ago and I found out that one of my local stores, a place called Disc Replay, which I don't know if it's a chain store or not. There may be Disc Replays in other locations, but we have one here in Champaign. And it's a place that sells used DVDs, Blu-rays, electronic equipment, posters, all kinds of really cool stuff, video games, everything you could possibly want. And I just love to go in there and browse for hours and hours. They have great prices. And so anyway, I found out that they were reopening again for limited hours, and I drove right out there. So happy to be able to go inside and be in that place again. And there weren't a lot of people there, but I'm hoping that, well, I told these guys I was very happy that they were back, and I missed them. So I bought a couple of things just to be a good citizen and keep them going, because I'm glad that some of these stores are able to reopen again, because I'm sure a lot of businesses won't, and that's very sad. So I bought a couple of things. Let me show you about two things. One is this Jeff Bridges film called Crazy Heart, which I had never seen before. It's on Blu-ray, and this is one that I've actually already watched and enjoyed it thoroughly. In fact, I wrote about it on my Letterboxd page. It's filled with cliches. There's nothing terribly new, but the expert acting of Jeff Bridges and his very likable personality makes this worthwhile. So and it has a lot of good music in it as well. Some of it performed by Jeff Bridges himself. He studied under a country singer to learn how to sing country, and Colin Farrell does it as well, which is pretty amazing. So pretty good little movie. I enjoyed it. The other thing I bought was this compilation, Mystery Science Theater 3000. It has 4 movies that they riff on, and I know how much some of you out there love MST3K. I really love what these guys do, and the main reason I decided to pick this up is because of this film called The Creeping Terror, which makes the concept of bad movie almost seem inadequate. It's a bad movie that is just like, what am I watching? How much money did they spend to do this? Was it $7.80? Anyway, it's just a great bad movie, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what the bots have to say about it. So after I got out of Disc Replay, I found myself thinking, hey, I wonder what's going on at Barnes & Noble, which is right down the road and around the corner, because I hadn't heard anything about them reopening. They've been closed all this time, only taking online orders or phone call orders, I guess, where people can just pick them up at the curb, and I hadn't participated in that at all. So I drove down to Barnes & Noble, and I saw several cars outside, and I thought, wow, maybe they're actually open. So I went in. Their doors were wide open. They had a couple of people standing in the front with masks on, basically to, I think they were trying to limit the number of people in the store. So if they were over, I don't know what the number would be, they probably would have told me, you'll have to wait outside. Well, luckily there weren't that many people there. So I walked right in, man. I was really excited that Barnes & Noble had come back, at least a limited time frame. So I looked around for new magazines, genre magazines like The Dark Side and Film Facts and Star Trek and all that. They didn't have anything new there. I looked for some books that I wanted to pick up. and they didn't have those. So I went right to the DVD Blu-ray section, and I was so excited about just being in that atmosphere again that I went a little bit crazy, but I wanted to give them some business and a little support and just the joy of picking up some DVDs and Blu-rays again. So let me show you what I got. These were all sort of, well, they were all impulse buys, and I'm not embarrassed to say that. So I picked up Ford versus Ferrari, starring Matt Damon and Christian Bale. This is a film that I've heard many good things about. My local film critic and film instructor, Chuck Kaplinski, just praised this film. And I had actually seen the previews, and I didn't think it looked all that interesting. But after I heard Chuck talk about it, I thought I need to give this a chance. So it's been getting a lot of good critical feedback. So let's see what that's like. The only Blu-ray I got from Barnes & Noble is Blade Runner 2049, which a little while ago, my friend Ian, All Things Film, he had done a video about Blade Runner. I think he had watched the original and then he watched this one, and I talked about it, and I told him that excuse me, I had only seen the original Blade Runner once, and it was a very bad experience. I went to a midnight movie, or a late night movie, here in town at the Art Theater, which was a big mistake because all the fanboys and the fangirls, the Blade Runner freaks, whatever they call themselves, were out there in full force, and the theater was crowded, and they couldn't contain their enthusiasm. They were shouting and repeating dialogue and answering back and just keeping up this soundtrack during the whole thing. And there was a girl behind me that's shouting in my ear. I mean, I have a feeling if I had asked her to be quiet, she would have gotten violent. So the whole thing was, it was kind of a cool experience in a way to see people that excited, but I couldn't get the film. I couldn't get into it. And it was kind of difficult for me to understand anyway. So I need to go back and rewatch Blade Runner, the original, which I have on the shelf, and I will. And I also want to see this because Ian said that it was a great film. So I'm very anxious to get into it, but not until I see the original first. Here's a film that I bought that I had never seen before, and this is the only other one of this group here that I've watched. Crazy Heart was the first. Jesus Christ Superstar from 1973, directed by Norman Jewison, starring Ted Neely in the title role. And the music was terrific. I really enjoyed it and found it to be very moving. And I can't say that this somehow defines who Jesus is for me. It just doesn't. But it still is very moving. And the only part that disappointed me was the way they did the title tune, which comes at the climactic point of the film right after Jesus has been condemned to death. That's such a great song, and I've seen it on stage once here in town. A local theater group did it, and they did a fantastic job. And seeing that everything performed live, especially that song, it was just really fantastic. But in the film, I don't know why they decided to do this, but the choreography was ridiculous. They sexualized the whole thing, which to me is unnecessary for that particular subject matter. And it looked like something from an episode of Soul Train combined with Solid Gold. And if you don't know what those references are, just go look them up. That means that you're not very old. But yeah, so great film up until the climax, but everything else was really worthwhile. I also picked up this Robert Altman film that I've never seen. It's called Images. Heard a lot of really fascinating things about this, and I just thought, I was very surprised to see that they had it, quite frankly. So this is another Blu-ray, so I guess I got two Blu-rays. Then I found this John Borman film from 1987 called Hope and Glory, which I remember seeing when it first came out. I was very, very impressed by it, very moving, all about people in England trying to survive the Blitz in World War II, and really a fantastic movie. So I haven't seen it ever since 1987, so I'm looking forward to seeing it again. And finally, I bought this very nice digibook of the original The Lost Horizon, which I have seen, but I swear it's been such a long time and I really don't remember anything about it. So that will be nice. And this is a nice piece of physical media to have in the collection, because complete with this. Everything you can possibly want. So that's what I bought. This video kind of ties in with a chat topic that's going around right now that Ian introduced. Is all about where do we buy our films? Where do we buy our physical media? So this shows you two places where I really like to shop. And around here, there aren't that many other places to go. I don't go to Best Buy anymore. They have absolutely nothing that I want there. And I do buy things at places like Walmart occasionally, but not very often. Everything else is pretty much online, and I do spend a lot of money online. I don't buy anything from Amazon, very, very seldom. I bought something on eBay the other night, something that just kind of caught my eye, and still buy things from the Video Beat. Let's see, Zeus. Is it Zeus? Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Oh, I'm losing my mind here. Anyway, here is a glass of wine in my politically incorrect Chief Illinois wine glass. Now, the University of Illinois, they're called the Fighting Illini, which is an Indian name, and they used to have this mascot, well, symbol of the sports program, an Indian called Chief Illinois, and of course now he's been forbidden because it's politically incorrect. But with everything that's been going on in this country for the past week or so, I'm in the mood to be very politically incorrect. And that's all I'm going to say. No apologies given. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. And I will see you soon.